What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Now, when it comes to this comic, I'm really excited. This is Justice League Unlimited, and it's going to be the first arc. It's going to be the first 5 issues. Behind this, we have the phenomenal team of Mark Waid, Dan Mora, and Tamra Bonvillain. Now, the story is going to pick us up in South Africa. We have the Justice League that is reunited. They're back together, and this comic is picking up after the events of Absolute Power. Because of those events, because of everything that is yet to come, because of Darkseid, the Justice League reformed. After years of being dismantled, of passing the torch off to Nightwing, a threat this grave, they couldn't stay apart. This is what takes us to the Justice League Watchtower. Everyone's on full alert. Everyone's headed out on different missions. Teleportations left and right, people walking through portals. But one person that we notice in particular is Airwave. Freshly new, brand new to the Justice League. He just got his membership. Now, he doesn't really know where to go, he doesn't know what to do, but looking around, he sees all the heroes. He sees everybody operating and moving fluidly like just well-oiled gears. This is where we have the Flash grab hold of Airwave. He grabs hold of him and he gives him the literal quick tour. And this is where the Flash kind of fills us in on everything that's going on here at the Watchtower. This is the Unlimited Justice League. That means unlimited integration of power, technology, innovation. It means every single hero has a home here at the Watchtower. They have the Golden Room, a meeting place for the Justice Society, one of several auxiliaries that they have, including the Titans, Super Family, personal quarters, the whole 9 yards. You have the Question, who is head of security. You have the Atom Project, ran by the Atoms currently working on it right now. Ryan Cho and Ray Palmer. Ever since the superpowers got scrambled up with everything going on with Amanda Waller's task force, everything we saw in Absolute Power, they've been trying to figure out a way to restore everybody's powers back. And then ever since Red Tornado's body was destroyed, while his android body's being rebuilt, they've kind of integrated him into the Watchtower. And so he's the Watchtower's AI. He's mission control. He's the electronic voice that you overhear. Now, this all took place 1 hour ago. This is what takes us back to South Africa. We have the Alpha Squad, Team A. It's made up of the heavy hitters. You got Superman, Wonder Woman, Star Sapphire, Black Lightning, Kid Flash, and Firestorm. And right now, they're on ground and they're fighting some kind of death wheels. Giant spikes rolling around, destroying everything in their path. And Star Sapphire, she's a relatively new member to the Justice League. If you guys have been paying attention to our Green Lantern series, you'll see that she got the powers and she really wanted to learn from the Justice League. That's why she's here in Justice League Unlimited. She wanted to become a better hero. She wanted to do her best to live up to what Hal Jordan has set the example to be for a Lantern. Out here on the battlefield, her teacher is Black Lightning. What they've learned so far about this attack is it's all by a group by the name of Inferno. Their goal seems to be extortion, at least at best. At worst, it's some kind of manipulation tactic. And so while our heroes try to figure out what the goal is here, what the plan is here, and they try to save as many innocent lives as they can, we're taken to Costa Rica. Batman and Blue Beetle have been sent here to do an investigation because there's been reports of children going missing, monsters from the jungle coming and just grabbing up children. No one's really been able to see much. All they know is that they're taloned. They have wings. And when Batman and Blue Beetle, they look around this forest, they see that there is something definitely off about this place. Picking back up with the Justice League, we have a man that is severely injured. He is on the brink of death. But Star Sapphire, she sees a wedding ring. That means that there is somebody he loves. Possibly his wife is nearby. If they can find her, Star Sapphire may be able to heal this man. But with all communications down, with it being complete chaos, it would seem that there's no way to find them. That is where Airwave comes in. The cell phone service may be down, but with Airwave getting in here, he hops from phone to phone, transmitting and trying to find this person, trying to find the wife. And they're able to find her. She raises her hand up to the sky. The Flash comes in, grabs her, and gets her back to Star Sapphire. Star Sapphire tells her to focus, to concentrate all of this man, everything that he means to you. Focus that love that you share. Open up your soul, because the ring can turn that bond into a healing force. As we see the man sit up, Black Lightning telling him that he's still going to need some medical attention, but he's alive. At this point, the Justice League, they destroyed all the death wheels. Left behind is a little voice box, a hologram of 5 cloaked individuals. They warn the Justice League that this is only the beginning, that they're gonna strike again. The Justice League cannot stop them. They cannot withstand any of their rage. That they are Inferno. They are the fire that transforms. And soon, they're gonna be the power that dominates the earth. Every nation, every person, they're gonna beg for mercy. This is when Superman, he goes on to say that you might be behind on the news, but the Justice League is now the largest, most powerful force of good in the universe. You're foolish enough to let us know what all your plans are gonna be. We'll be waiting. Now, down in Costa Rica, Batman and Blue Beetle, they got another situation going on. As they look around, what they look to be finding is dozens and dozens upon dozens of eggs. Almost looking like something out of Alien straight up Xenomorph style. That's when Batman says that they're gonna need some heavy hitters. Cause Blue Beetle and Batman, they're not gonna last long on their own. Back at the Watchtower, we have the Justice League that's returning from their mission. And really, everyone's telling Airwave, good job. Like, you did a really good job that was fast thinking. You were able to save somebody's life. With Superman, Black Lightning, Firestorm, they're all welcoming him to the Justice League. He goes into his room, he takes off his mask, and we see Airwave crying. Crying because they were all so nice to him. They accepted him for who he was. And nobody's ever truly trusted him like this. And they have no idea what this means. They have no idea how helpful this is. Because Airwave, he has intentions of killing all of them. And that is what's going to take us into issue number 2 of Justice League Unlimited. And we're picking up with Blue Beetle. We have Blue Beetle that is being drug off. Something in this jungle, something down here in Costa Rica has beat the crap out of Blue Beetle and is dragging him into the darkness. And as we pick up later that evening, those monsters that are hiding in the dark, they're not hiding any longer. They've come out of the darkness and they're snatching up anybody and everybody. Because what's down here in Costa Rica are parademons. But they are quickly met by the Justice League. Our heroes are teleporting in. Dr. Occult, Star Sapphire, Martian Manhunter, Mary Marvel, Black Lightning, Wonder Woman, and of course Big Blue himself. And as Superman reaches Batman, he's wondering what happened. What's going on here? Batman tells him that it was an attack, an ambush. They had found themselves in the nest of the parademons. A whole cache of eggs. Batman had lost consciousness, and when he woke up, Blue Beetle was gone. But that's not the worst of it. The locals swear that the parademons have been stealing children. He tells Wonder Woman that the nest is a mile away. That her and Mary, they gotta go shut it down. While Martian Manhunter and Dr. Occult, they go find the kids. Martian Manhunter's telepathy is gonna be able to help him track them down very quickly. Or at least that's the hopes. Now, down in Singapore, we got another issue going on. In Singapore, we have the Atoms, Ryan and Ray, but we also have Atom Smasher. Atom Smasher doesn't have his powers because this supervillain does. Luckily for the Atoms, they got a gizmo. They got a device that they've been working on they call the Atom Project. They put it between Atom Smasher and the dude that has his powers, and we see the powers taken back. We see the powers drained from our robber and put back into Atom Smasher. The only problem is that this is an excruciating process, and it's also not very stable. So if they're going to be working on putting all the missing superpowers on the planet back to where they came from, they're going to need help from another Atom. Taking us to a cave, we pick up with Martian Manhunter and Dr. Occult. And Dr. Occult kind of saying like, I've always kind of known who you were. I've always known your true identity. but there was never a reason to actually expose you. You took on a human form and you fought crime in secret. You were a good man and we're on the same team. He even says like, hell, you were Superman before there was a Superman. Maybe not quite as strong or fast, but you could do most things that he could, and that was something that he admired. But this is where Martian Manhunter lets it slip that that's no longer the case. Because of the events of absolute power, it's not something he's been really comfortable telling the Justice League, but some of his powers are still missing. He no longer has ocular abilities and his telepathy completely silent. That's why he was a little bit hesitant to go and search for the children. That's why he's letting Dr. Occult take the lead. He can't use his telepathy to try and find them. Lucky for them, Dr. Occult has been great at tracking. Getting into this cave, they run into the parademons. But when they run into this parademon, Martian Manhunter, he says that he's fair game. We can completely take him out because he's just a mindless beast, a mindless monster. But that's when the parademon, he says that he's not. The parademon talks. And Martian Manhunter, he's wondering, like, what the heck are you? And what he is born different. On Apocalypse, the first of his kind to be spawned self-aware. He says that others have been since, but not then. Deemed a perfect candidate to watch over the growing nest. They were secreted here long ago should they be needed. Should Darkseid ever call him to their service. Now, he called it exile. So he's been kidnapping children, holding them hostage, using them as a bargaining tool. One of Darkseid's underlings prepares mortal younglings to be warriors. He's hoping that he can provide these children as an offering and come back to Apocalypse, be allowed to go home. But this is when Martian Manhunter reveals Darkseid is dead. The parademon absolutely loses it, proclaiming it's not fair to be torn away from everything you love, to have your home taken away, to be imprisoned, abandoned on another planet for years and years, to imagine the suffering. And of course, Martian Manhunter, he takes offense to this because he all too well understands the pain. But to do this and then justify the kidnapping of children and to use them as bargaining tools, he finds the most disgusting and revolting of things. So much so that we see him go berserker. He takes the form of the parademon. He hits him. He smashes him. He pummels this dude's face into the freaking ground. This is when the lasso of Wonder Woman grabs hold of his hand. And Superman tells him that it's okay, that we're done here. Help the imprisoned, help Blue Beetle. But once this is all said and done, you and I are gonna have a talk. That's when Martian Manhunter goes invisible and he takes off. Superman and the others, they know that they need to find their friend. They don't know what's going on with him. Dr. Occult does reveal that he's been hiding some of his missing powers. But nonetheless, our friend is broken. That's what hops us over to issue number 3. We're picking up at the Justice League Watchtower. We pick up with the Question. Now the Question is looking around for Airwave and eventually finding Airwave. Airwave's been hiding out in the walls of the Watchtower. He has his own room, he has his own quarters and everything. So she's gotta wonder, why are you hiding out here? She says that she knows his secrets. And well, he thinks his cover's blown. He thinks this is it right here. She goes on to say that you don't have a home, that you're one of those forgotten sidekicks plucked from the timeline that Stargirl had saved. We saw that in Stargirl, The Lost Children. Most of them had found old family, but Airwave is one of the kids that didn't. And he really didn't want anybody to know. He didn't want anybody to treat him like a kid that didn't belong anywhere. And Question, she's like, this isn't gonna get you kicked out or anything. You're not in trouble for anything. But we can't have you going around feeling like you're not deserving. So she tells him, mask up. This is what takes us down to the Amazon. We have a huge portion of the Amazon rainforest that has been set ablaze. And it's been caught fire by, you guessed it, Inferno. They have yet again returned with another Earth-ending disaster. We deploy Alpha Squad, Superman, Star Sapphire, Wonder Woman, Flash, the Captain, Stargirl, and Stripe. When our heroes get boots on ground, what they see are giant pillars. These are the source of the flames. Hundreds of pillars imbued into the soil. When Superman touches it, it burns his hands. These pillars are magic. The best thing that they can do right now is try to control, to save as many civilians as they can. They get Zatanna, they get Xanthi, they get Dr. Occult, they get 3 of the Metalmen, Gold, Iron, and Platinum. All of these heroes working on a way to try and get this fire taken out, to knock these pillars down. Now, while they battle, this is where Zatanna gets the idea that if they're using magic, we can reverse that magic. We can turn it around and we can at least see who we're dealing with. And over one of the pillars, this is where we see like a doorway open up, and we see a cloaked individual. We're not able to see their face, but it refers to them as humans. Zatanna declaring that they let us know what their intentions are. And he says that this region is home to all but a third of all known plant life, of animal species. This is an act of genocide. We mean to cleanse. We mean to burn. In Gateway City, we pick up with the Atoms. The Atoms alongside Plastic Man. They've come to Lenny's apartment in Gateway City. Now, Plastic Man, he's not super comfortable like breaking into her apartment, but no one's really seen her. Now, Lenny, aka Phantom Girl from the 30th century. Plastic Man and her, they were on the Terrifics together. They kind of formed a bond, so breaking into her place kind of feels like betraying her. But he needs to get her powers back. As they get in here, this is where they find her. But what they find is a monstrosity. A gooey, melting mess of a person. She had no idea how to use Plastic Man's powers. She has been hidden away here, too afraid that the world would look at her like some kind of monster, like some kind of hideous freak. With the Atoms activating the device, the powers are swapped. Plastic Man has his powers back with him. And Lenny, she's being able to phase a girl. Phantom Girl has her powers yet again. And she hugs Plastic Man, but as she's hugging him, she takes off. She's like, deuces, like I can finally go back to my people. I'm out of here. What we're seeing is slowly but surely, the Atoms are switching people's powers back one by one. Obviously, the goal here is to do it on a global scale, to do it in one fell swoop and get everybody's powers switched back just like that. Now, down in the Amazon rainforest, we have our hooded individual. They burn, they destroy, and we see Dr. Occult go in single-handedly. With the portal door being open, he jumped in, and as soon as he did, it closed behind him. Mr. Terrific screaming how dumb that was, but also getting the idea about the green. The green is an energy, an elemental force. It connects all life forms on planet, life on Earth and beyond. That's what Inferno's doing. They're trying to bend that force to their will. They want to control the green. And so that's where we pick up with Aquaman down in Louisiana. He's made his way to Swamp Thing. He's here to bring Levi to the rainforest, to try and save whatever they can. Now, of course, he knows what's going on. He's familiar with what is happening, and he's already making efforts to fight against it. But this is where we see Swamp Thing. His body begins to ember. He begins to catch fire. In the blink of an eye, he catches a blaze. He burns to a crisp right in front of Aquaman. That is what takes us to issue number 4. We pick up with Mr. Terrific, and he's trying to figure out what the best course of action is here. With Swamp Thing taking out of the equation, they only have one other option. Tefe Holland, the daughter of Alec Holland. She still has a connection to the green, and so he goes to her. He explains to her what's going on, explains to her the whole situation, explains that Swamp Thing, he got burned to a crisp, that these guys are going after the connection of the green, and your connection is what is causing you pain. It's calling out for help, and without you, we don't know if we can win this battle. Now, back at the Watchtower, they're doing everything on their end that they can do. Blue Beetle and Professor Haley, they're working on a way to throw these pillars into the Phantom Zone. We got Kid Flash and Max Mercury. They're in the magical library looking for any counter spells. We do have a timeline. We have 2 hours. In 2.5 hours, if this forest keeps burning, it's going to cause global catastrophes, starvation, droughts, the whole 9 yards. At this point, we got Holland on ground using her powers of the connection to the green to try and help in any way she can. We're seeing some kind of restoration, some kind of reforestation. While it's looking like they might actually be able to pull this off, we pick up in Egypt. We pick up with a man that is making his way from the sandy dunes into his tent. And when he goes inside, this is where he runs into Batman. This man hiding in the desert is Martian Manhunter. And Batman's really like, what's going on, man? Like, we know that you lost your powers, but I don't understand why you left. Now, I know your brain's always operated on an entirely different level than any other humans, but now it's not. You relied on those abilities, kind of like breathing. You're suddenly blind and deaf. And Martian Manhunter also goes on to say that it's kind of more than that. He feels like he's now less value to the Justice League, that they can function without him, that he's not a necessity. Of course, Batman tells him to stop sitting in all this self-pity. You didn't leave because you felt unneeded. You believe you're far too powerful to risk being around them without full control of his senses. Martian Manhunter believes that he's a danger, with Batman telling him that they're gonna figure this out and they're gonna solve this issue together. Back in the rainforest, we have Dr. Occult. He is being thrown out of a portal right into the ground. Dude looks like he is messed up. They turned him into human kindling. This is where Teffy and Aquaman, they decide that they're gonna go into the green. Aquaman's relatively useless in a wildfire with no water around him, and so they dive into the green. They're diving in here so that they can try and find Levi. He's in here somewhere, they just gotta bring him out. On the outside, we see Superman, we see the Flash. 44 minutes left on the clock, they're running out of time. But as Holland and Aquaman, they reach Levi. They're able to find him, but then they're cut off. They're cut off by one of the cloaked individuals. He stands here guarding, protecting, keeping him imprisoned. With 12 minutes on the clock, Teffy still has some leftover magic. With all the power swapping, she's got some magic that she can use. Connecting to the mind of Aquaman, kind of using their powers together, she's able to summon the Keepers of the Green. She's able to summon the Parliament of Trees. In the chaos, we're able to free Swamp Thing. And with him being free, we see the vines, they rise up. They cut down the pillars. They put out the flames. The regrowth lives in the forest, it thrives. With the day being won, the Amazon rainforest being saved and the pillars being destroyed, we pick up with our mysterious individuals of the Inferno, as one mocks the other for being defeated by trees. You could argue that they still won. The League is being hit harder than ever before. It leaves them breathless, more prone to err. Now they're in their final phases. Now they redouble their efforts, and it still remains a mystery on who Inferno is. They're certain of this because of their inside man, because of Airwave. This is what takes us to the final issue of this video, issue number 5 of Justice League Unlimited. We're picking up in Sydney, Australia. We're picking up at the G20 summit meeting. All the world leaders are meeting up here, so of course, the Justice League thinks this is a good place to run security. It's a prime target for Inferno, considering all the craziness that they've been trying to do. So we got Impulse, The Flash, Supergirl, Wonder Woman. We got some fast movers here. Honestly, they're prepared and they're ready for everything. Not only that, we got Star Sapphire, we got Green Lantern, we got a bunch of heroes. We even have Japan's Thunderlord. And the Justice League was right. Inferno was going to strike, and it does quickly. Everything turning straight psychedelic, straight acid tripping out, and monsters appearing everywhere. At the Justice League Watchtower, we have Mr. Terrific that's keeping tabs on everything, seeing that 20 of the world leaders and 6 superheroes just disappeared. They're trying to figure out what the heck is going on, who's responsible, why this is happening, and if they can send in some backup. But right now, Superman, other heroes, they're all preoccupied. They're all busy because Inferno, they're hitting in different locations around the globe. Elsewhere, wherever our heroes are with our world leaders, they're battling against these crazy monster demons. Our heroes are all over the place, discombobulated. And all the world leaders, of course, they're not wanting to listen. They're not wanting to hear anybody. They're not wanting to follow orders. And with our heroes recognizing that this is going to go sideways very quickly, somebody's got to take charge. This is where the Flash and Green Lantern, they kind of take the reins, telling Star Sapphire to build a bubble for them, a protective dome to bring everybody into. That way they can grab everybody while they figure out where they are and what is going on. Now, while all this is happening, they kind of say the Impulse is in the way and it kind of makes him feel bad. But as he gets out of the way, he sees one of the delegates. He's kind of smirking. He's kind of happy about everything going on. So Impulse rushes over to this guy, and he's not really sure about him, but he grabs hold of him and he's like, "You're with Inferno, aren't you? Like, you seem too happy about everything going on. I saw you smiling. You have something to do with all this. You're staying way too calm and way too smiley." At this point, the Atoms and Batman Martian Manhunter, they've all figured out that one of the delegates is also with Inferno. They figured out that one of the delegates has Martian Manhunter's powers. That's who Impulse has found. He has found the person who got Martian Manhunter's powers and is also working in Inferno, telling Impulse that he's a rather clever boy. He also makes him forget everything that he just figured out. So while all the heroes are focused on saving everybody, the Flash is pushing them over into the next dimension. He's really saying that being in any dimension that's not this one might be better, considering we're being attacked by giant monsters all over the place. So pushing them into the next dimension, Supergirl knows exactly where they are. And this place has an exit. That's what takes us to the Watchtower at the Phantom Zone prison gate. We see the gate blasted down by Supergirl and her telling everybody to get inside and quickly seal the door up because we don't need any Phantom Zone criminals coming through. As the doorway gets sealed up, as our heroes make it back inside, the Atoms show up with their device, and they're quickly able to figure out the delegate who has Martian Manhunter's powers. So even though he made Impulse forget, he's quickly figured out. Batman and everybody else showing up. This is when the Inside Man tells Airwave that it's time to come. It's time to honor your bargain. This is where the cloaked individual takes off his hood and reveals himself to be Gorilla Grodd. Gorilla Grodd has the powers of Martian Manhunter, revealing himself, and then with Airwave's help, they teleport out of here. And even Batman has to wonder, what the hell, Airwave? Like, Airwave? You were the Inside Man working with Inferno? No way, dude. Like, wow. Even stumping Batman, we see Airwave and Gorilla Grodd teleported to the Legion of Doom, telling the Legion that there's been a turn of events. No sense in cloaking themselves any longer because the League is on to them. And Lex Luthor telling him that it's not gonna matter, as we see all the other villains. They're ready to make their final strike. And that is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so right off rip, Dan Mora, Tamara Bonvillain, you guys know I've always been a fan of those two ever since the Once and Future, which we are going to get back into and cover. I loved Once and Future. I think it's arguably some of the best writing, best artwork, best line work. Like, it's hands down some of the best stuff to come out in the last 5 years. And so to see these guys together again, adding in Mark Waid as the writer, you're gonna have yet another absolute home run. And the first 5 issues, that's exactly what we're getting. Just absolutely home run. Now, I don't care what anybody says. I absolutely love what they got going on here. Now, continuing on from our absolute power, all of our heroes, their powers are mixed up. They're all over the place. And so we're seeing the Justice League have to deal with the ramifications of that. But moreover, the Justice League, they're back together. They're reformed. Not only are they reformed, but they're a global effort now. Some would even argue a universal effort now. And now that they're back in the full swing of things, the Legion of Doom is back up to their regular shenanigans, or at least so it seems. Now this is going to be moving us into the We Are Yesterday 6-part event. It takes place over Justice League Unlimited and Batman and Superman World's Finest. We will be covering that and going into We Are Yesterday, since we covered the one-shot that kind of takes place after that. But really what all of that is telling us is that Airwave, he has huge significance moving forward. That he's not just a nobody. That he's gonna be an instrumental part of whatever happens in the future. We don't really know what that is yet, but right now we can tell that he doesn't want to be with the Legion of Doom. He's doing this out of necessity. He's doing this for protection. Maybe even to feel like he has a place. All in all, I'm loving it. I'm glad that the Justice League is back together. They're reformed. They're out here kicking butt. Justice League Unlimited seems like a return to great Justice League comics. It feels like a return to being excited to jump into them, because this 5 issues, it was all punches and fighting, but also important dialogue like between Batman and Martian Manhunter. All of this is vital. All of this is important. This is what makes great comics. So if DC can continue this and they can keep making comics like this, I don't see why we could have bad years or bad sales moving forward. I will say that Absolute Comics has definitely taken like the forefront of people's purchasing. So I think it's also important that we make sure we cover comics like this, and I make sure that to let you guys know to go out and buy Justice League Unlimited. Whether you're waiting for the volumes to come out or you want to buy the individual issues because you love the artwork, I highly recommend buying Justice League Unlimited, getting out there, checking it out, seeing it for yourself. I think we're up to issue number 9 right now. We will be getting caught up all the way, but you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on since Absolute Power with DC Comics. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining our channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers. From $1 to about $20, I think. We got a bunch of different perks, a bunch of different options. Now, if you can't do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.